Yo guys, sorry, you already know that today I'm bringing you guys my battle for week 7 of the TBU. This week we're taking on Freedomeon of the Welsheons, and fun fact, I'm pretty sure Fredo was the very first person that I played when I first got into the TBU. I'm pretty sure, and I'm actually in the TBU basically because of Fredo, so, I mean, he let me in. So, I actually have been really looking forward to this battle. Because yeah, he's pretty important when it comes to my history with TBU. So it's time to pay him back for that by beating him in a Pokemon game. So what we have here is I'm going to go over my team really quick, and then we'll talk some more, I guess. So first off is Thundurus. I put some Wise Glasses on him because I didn't want the Life Orb recoil. He's got Sludge Wave, Thunderbolt, Hidden Power Ice, Volt Switch with enough speed to outspeed the Cobalion. Max special attack, and then some leftovers in HP, and it does a ton of work to a lot of his team. So then there's that. Then we have Drampaw, which is going to make up the first half of my defensive core this week. Drampaw is especially defensive with Roost, Hyper Voice, Toxic, Flamethrower, has Sap Sipper, and switches into Shaman every day of the week. Even a Specs Dazzling Gleam does like nothing. Basically 30% or something like that, so it's pretty gross. So I'm pretty good with that. So that's Drampaw. Yeah, special defensive, leftovers, all that good stuff. I'm just gonna skip over really quick because Vaporeon is my physically defensive mon. It has Scald, Ice Beam, Wish Protect, so nothing fancy there. The Cryogonal isn't fancy either, because that is Expert Belt with Recover, Rapid Spin, Freeze Dry, Hidden Power Ground. With Freeze Dry and Hidden Power Ground, it actually hits everything on his team super effectively, except for the Mega Gardevoir, and I think there's one or two other Pokemon. I don't actually remember a lot of Fredo's team because we were actually meant to have this battle before I had my battle last week. We were going to have it well in advance, but we ended up not. So I've actually had this team built for like a week and a half before the battle, so I don't remember all of the ins and outs, but I just remember that everything I made was good. Cryogonal has 240 special attack, 220 speed, timid. That outspeeds base 100s, which he has a lot of, and then the rest in HP and whatnot. Volcanion is Choice Scarfed, Steam Eruption, Earth Power, Fire Blast, Sludge Wave. I should probably stop scarfing Volcanion because I feel like it's going to start becoming a little bit too predictable, but we shall see. Maybe if people predict that I will stop bringing Choice Scarf, maybe, I don't know, reverse psychology, you know how it works. Enough speed to outspeed his fastest mon. Again, I don't remember what it is. Basically max special attack, rest in HP. And then Uxie is there for just some support. It has Stealth Rocks with Reflect Light Screen, though it does have leftovers, not the Light Clay, because I thought leftovers would be important. And Psyshock, 244 HP, 156 defense, bold, and 108 speed. That was to outspeed something slow. I think Emboar. Oh yeah, I think Uxie was there for Emboar because he had an Emboar on his team, and I didn't really have to switch into that at all, especially if it was a Scarfed Emboar. So, that being said, we are, I think, just going to get into this battle. I think there was one other thing I was going to say. I think I was just, yeah, must not have been important. I think I was just going to say about how we were going to play early or whatever, but it doesn't matter. Also, this is the first game in like 2-3 weeks that I haven't DC'd in, so that's fun. But if you saw the matchup, you see that Thundurus is a fantastic lead against pretty much his whole team. He didn't seem to bring a whole lot for it. In terms of, you know, defensively. He could have some Scarf things though, so I definitely need to watch out for those. But T-Swizzle there is leading off, and I know that I can outspeed because Mega Gardevoir can't be Scarfed, so I know I have a free Volt Switch, and man, I'm going to Volt Switch, like I just said, and she is not going to like that very much, and I believe I go into Volcanion because I figured he was going to Hyper Voice because that has a like 100% chance to take out my Thundurus. But look what I made her do. I made her go for Hyper Voice, and that was fine. You know, I can take that. It looks like that there really isn't anything that he could use to take me out, so I'm just going to go for the Steam Eruption because I thought he was going to switch out. If I went for the Sludge Wave, I think he actually would have died. But that's okay. But I did not take into account Thunderbolt, and I actually lose my Volcanion here, which was a really bad thing. Turn 1, or turn whatever, 4, like really early in the game. Probably shouldn't have lost Volcanion, but I wasn't super upset, but I was upset that I didn't really account for Thunderbolt, so that is my fault. The Volt Switch is really obvious, and the only thing that he could do to stop my Volt Switch is to send in his Glass Core, so I actually go for the Hidden Power Ice. Hidden Power Ice would also take out the Gardevoir if he had stayed in, and if he switched into anything else, I could go for the Thunderbolt on the following turn to do damage to whatever came in. So that's why Hidden Power Ice was a pretty safe play there, and actually take out the Gliscor right there. So now I'm feeling way better because he took out my Volcanion like real quick, so I took out his Gliscor real quick, and so now we're even again, which I'm okay with. I need to go for Volt Switch to find out if the Zapdos was Scarfed. If he was Scarfed, then he would have done at least about half to me. But I had to take that chance, find out that he's not Scarfed, so that's good to know. Go into my special defensive Mon, which is Drampola, which is a great switch into not only Shaman, but also Zapdos. That is a Life Orb Zapdos. I believe Timid, but still, with the leftovers, Drampola is just eating that up, and it doesn't matter. So I didn't think that he was going to stay in, so I actually go for the Flamethrower, which kind of sucks. I don't know. I didn't really know what he was going to switch into, but the rest of his team is weak to Flamethrower except for the Tentacruel. But I didn't know if he was going to send that in or not. But he actually Roosts, which kind of sucks for me because I have Toxic and I could just Toxic him when he Roosts. But again, I didn't think he was stay in. Again, I didn't think he was going to stay in. So this time I go for the Hyper Voice, and he doesn't. He goes out into his Tentacruel, which Hyper Voice, it's not going to matter that much. So yeah. I wanted to switch in something that was going to deal with its stabs, also deal with it offensively, because yes, Drampola can deal with Scald, it can deal with Sludge Wave, doesn't really matter, but I didn't want him to start setting up Toxic Spikes on me, so I wanted to be able to switch in a Mon that could offensively check him while not really caring about if he attacked me. So I actually go into Cryogonal, because I can recover off any damage if I need be. But he actually goes for Knockoff, which I didn't really consider. However, my Expert Belt getting knocked off isn't the end of the world, so that's okay. But I definitely need to be more careful of switching things into this, because I don't want other Mon's items to be knocked off, because they're important. Not that Cryogonal's not important, it is very important. Especially in this matchup. It has a fantastic matchup. I'm so glad. I'm pretty sure I brought this off the bench for Toxicroak, so that was good. But I go for the Freeze Dry. And that first word in that move is going to be important because I freeze him. Pokemon is a fair and balanced game. That is what it is. So generally I would have switched in to Vaporeon to deal with whatever he's going to go for, but since he's frozen, I decided that I don't want to Scald him because then that would thaw him out. And I could take some turns to, well, do what I do. I set up rocks, I could set up screens, there's a lot of different things I can do. So that is why I went into Uxie. Otherwise, my switch-in would have been Vaporeon. I did find out that he was an Adamant Life Orb Cobalion, so it is a little unfortunate, but we're going to talk more about that later. So I get up the Stealth Rocks, which is fantastic. I did not account for the Signal Beam. Again, I thought he was just going to go for Thunderbolt, which still would have done about half, but I wanted to get up Light Screen to maybe switch in something else, but I thought he was just going to Volt Switch. That's kind of the main thing I did that. Or the main reason I did that, because I didn't think it was going to stand. I assume he's either going to Signal Beam again, maybe Thunderbolt again, probably just switch out, but I keep thinking that he's going to switch out and then he doesn't, so I'm just going to go back into Drampola, and I believe he actually does Thunderbolt. And again, this is another turn that I could have Toxiced him, but I did not. With the Light Screen up, that is just hilarious damage, and we're kind of going to get a similar play to the one before, except for this time I go for the Hyper Voice because the calc was showing me that I should be doing around 50%, and since this is an offensive Zapdos, I kind of wanted to show him that, like, hey, roosting isn't doing anything for you. That was the message that I wanted to send across. Whether I did or not is to be seen. So I go for the Hyper Voice, and it does about 50, probably slightly under. I would say that was not quite fully half, so should it come to stalling it out, he may be able to win. That was probably a roll. I'm not entirely sure what the roll was, I don't remember. I think it was high 40% to low 50%, so somewhere in that range. But he's just going to go back out in Tentacruel, so we're basically all just making the same switches again, which is okay with me because he's getting more worn down than I am. However, I'm assuming he's just going to go for the Rapid Spin. But again, in case he wanted for the knockoff, I didn't want to switch in anything else. And he's actually at a point that Cryogonal is getting close to being able to take him out. So I needed to make an offensive switch because I was assuming that he was going to go for Rapid Spin, and I don't want to waste that opportunity. I got Stealth Rocks up knowing that he could potentially Rapid Spin them away later, so I needed to make sure that I could take advantage of the opportunity when it presented itself, and here it is. He Rapid Spins and if he would have knocked off, then I probably would have had to recover this turn just to make sure that I have enough health, but he rapid spun, which means I have enough health to deal with stuff, which means I can go on the offensive again. I didn't think he was going to switch back into Cobalion, because I have hidden power ground on this Cryogonal, so I could be doing like more damage and stuff. Yeah, I'm going to go ahead for the freeze dry again, because I didn't think he was going to switch into Cobalion. I thought he was going to switch to something else. And he's at a point that hidden power ground is looking like it's close to being able to take it out, but not quite. So I'm going to switch out, because I'm still scared of him thawing out, going for close combat, and killing my Cryogonal, which is important to this match. And I actually go into the Thunderous, because a close combat wouldn't take me out. Stone Edge wouldn't have taken me out if he wasn't Life Orb, however he was, and he actually went for Stone Edge that turn, and that would have killed me should it have connected. However, that is a play that wouldn't have happened if he wasn't frozen in the first place, so again, we'll talk more about that later. I go for the Thunderbolt because it does a lot of damage to anything that he could possibly switch in, except for something like Shaman, but then I have switch-ins to that, so it doesn't really matter. And here is the easiest Volt switch of my life, because he doesn't have an immunity anymore, so I am going to be able to take out the Tentacruel, and that is 2 kills for Thunderous, I believe. The only 2 kills from my side so far, which is really, really good. Thunderous is putting in a whole lot of work, and I'm just going to go back into Cryogonal because I didn't know what else he was going to switch in. But he just goes back into Cobalion. I'm not really sure what else I want to switch in. I have Thunderous putting on offensive pressure. I have switch in still, so I actually decided to go for the hidden power ground now, chancing the freeze, and I actually find out that I'm faster, which makes a lot of difference. He's frozen solid. So had he thought out any of those turns, Cryogonal definitely would have been dead. Yeah, I go for the freeze dry because it's going to kill from here. Cryogonal is going to get a kill, which is cool, and would do a lot of damage to anything coming in. So now I have Cryogonal and Thunderous both being really offensively putting a lot of offensive pressure on his team. So he's only got 3 mons left, which is cool. He sends in Shaman. Dreampaw doesn't care about Shaman any day of the week, so that is what I do. And he's going to go for the Seed Flare, and that's fine with me. He doesn't really have a great switch into Hyper Voice. Zapdos doesn't want to take 2. The Mega Gardevoir is going to die, and I can start weighing this thing down. He went for Seed Flare again. I'm thinking that he wasn't going to go for it again and try and double switch, but I didn't feel the need to double switch there because, again, I can hit something coming in with a really hard Hyper Voice. This is my switch into Zapdos, and Mega Gardevoir can't just switch in. So now he's going to go for the Tailwind, which I make a semi-misplay, but a semi-educated guess play. Right here, I probably could have gone for Toxic and stalled out the Tailwind turns. However, he probably still would have been able to get Tailwind up at some point. Or maybe if I went for Toxic this turn and then Hyper Voice next turn, I would have been able to stall out the Tailwind turns. However, I knew that he couldn't just sweep me from where he was at. And I also didn't want Dreampaw to get worn down too much because of the Zapdos that could still come in. So I actually do take him out this turn, which means he is going to have Tailwind. The only thing that really does for me is it means that I do have to sack off something to Mega Guard because I don't have anything that can take 2 Hyper Voices. So knowing that he's just going to go for Hyper Voice, I do have to sack off something, and that something is going to be the Uxie because I don't necessarily need it. It isn't going to be doing a lot of damage to the things that are left, and I don't necessarily need its screens, so it's all good. So he's going to go for the Hyper Voice. Uxie is going to go down, which is perfectly fine because now I can go into Vaporeon, which is the first time it came in. Had Cobalion not gotten frozen, Vaporeon would have seen the field a lot more. But yeah, he's going to go for Thunderbolt. I think max roll is 90%. That seems a little high. That didn't do that much. I'm not sure what the max roll. I think it was like 70% maybe. I go for the Ice Beam because it takes it out. And if he would have gotten Shiggy Switch, which would have made no sense then it would have hit Zapdos. But again, doesn't really matter. I'm going to preserve differential from here on out because I have a switch into Zapdos, that being Dreampaw. I can 1v1 it easily, and that is essentially going to be the game because basically what's going to happen, and even if I would have somehow died, then like Thunderous would be able to do like put in work and whatnot. So and then Cryogonal I think was also still alive, so I definitely had plenty of things to deal with it. But really quick to just kind of explain what happens here real quick. I thought he was just going to like let himself die, but I believe what he was trying to do was maybe stall out my Hyper Voices. I'm assuming it's a mix of one of 2 things. He was either roosting to try and stall out my hyper voices, so that way he could get another kill or something like that, and maybe try and take me out. Or he was just really angry at the freeze and just was taking out his anger. I don't know, but I'm pretty sure he was probably just trying to stall out hyper voices. But that isn't going to work because I do have Toxic, and I'm going to be like, okay, well, if you're just going to keep roosting, then I'm going to Toxic you, and then from there, he lets himself die because he realizes he's not going to win that 1v1. So, I am going to win this game 4-0. Dreadball is going to get 2 kills, which is amazing. I think 2 kills. Thunder's got 2 kills, Kraganol got a kill, Vaporeon got a kill, and Dreadball got 2, yeah. So, that is amazing. I had an answer for everything that he had, essentially. The Cobalion freeze, it's one of those that I don't know what would have happened. That first time that Cobalion came in, I mean, I would have switched in Vaporeon. Vaporeon, like, Adamant Life Orb, the set that he said he was, Close Combat, has like a 21% chance to 2-hit KO. And I also have Protect to get an extra turn of leftovers. So if I would switch in on a Close Combat, then I'd go for Protect as he would go for Close Combat again, then I'd be able to live, and he'd be at -1 defense. Actually, after the second Close Combat hit, he'd be at -2 defense. So, I mean, Cobalion wasn't going to last that long. He might have been able to take down Vaporeon eventually, but at that point, seeing that he was slower than Kraganol, and he would have been slower than, or he was slower than Thundurus, he definitely would have gotten taken out eventually. So it matters, but I do still think that I would have won, honestly, but that's just my opinion. It's one of those that we'll never know. I do like that he got the confused Parahax at the end of the game. I guess Pokemon's trying to like make itself up to him, but I think it's a little bit too little too late, and Zapdos actually dashed to the toxic damage, so that is that's the game. That is the week, which is really good for us, because we go into next week, our final week, against the person that we are trying to win the division against, which is Cloud. I don't know how he has done this week. If he wins this week, then we'll have the same record, which means the winner takes the division. However, if he loses, then I think it'll come down to differential, which if I win, I win, and if I lose, I think it depends on the differential. I'll have to find out what the differential of each team is, so I will find out what that is next week when we have that battle. But until then, that's been this battle. I think this is a pretty straightforward battle. I mean, I had switch-ins to the stuff that he brought. I had offensive stuff that he didn't really have answers to, so I think it was pretty straightforward in my book. The freeze sucks, but it's Pokemon. I've definitely been there, so you know, it is what it is. But I'm going to take the wins where I can get them and keep going towards playoffs, because right now we have a really good shot. So that is going to be this week. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and next week I will see you for the last game of the regular season against Cloud and the Jersey Weaviles, which is going to be a fantastic game. So hopefully you guys enjoyed, and I will see you guys next time. So thanks for watching, and until then, guys, stay sly.